Welcome to Obscured Reality with Mark and Stephanie. From UFO sightings to the lost city of Atlantis, from alien encounters to the living dead, each episode will leave you questioning reality. If you're ready to explore the eerie, tune in to Obscured Reality, where mysteries come alive.
That's right, Obscured Reality. We're back. We are back. You ain't gonna hear any bad words out of either of our mouths. I'm trying really hard, guys. It's difficult. It's difficult not to cuss. It's feels natural almost. And honestly, if society didn't make them bad words,
they would just be words.
Say them normally. Yeah, it wouldn't be a big deal. All right. We got to go into a couple things tonight. Mainly, we're going to talk about something I recently discussed on our last episode. All these plane issues and crashes recently.
Mm-hmm.
I was also going to reference this with all these train crashes that have happened in the last year. Because it seemed like there was a spate where it was just like these few months, it was just train crash, right? However, when looking up a list of train crashes around the world, in last 4 years, it was sectioned out by year.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty clear that there's a hell of a lot more than was actually in the media. So they're just picking and choosing certain ones.
Yeah.
Not everything was in there. There was quite a bit more than you may think. So we're not going to even look at those.
Trains scare me.
Maybe the same thing with the planes. Doubtful. I think the planes are a little more dramatic. Hence, they're going to go for ratings, right? But we're going to look at a few of these that are like since right about Christmas, maybe a couple days before up to now. We're not going to go into detail. We're going to look at when and a quick view of what happened so you guys can get a view on that. And then at the end, stick around for this. You're going to like this, I think. You guys heard of the Shawn Ryan show podcast on YouTube? He's a former, I believe, Navy SEAL. He's got a good podcast. He's very serious. He's no BS. He had someone on recently, and the topic is related to the issue with this person in the Cybertruck that caught fire, blew up, whatever the hell happened in front of the Trump hotel. The guys he tipped, the people he typically has on are like usually former military, former SEALs, CIA.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
There's a good one with a female who works or previously worked for the CIA, talking about the current state of where things are at, getting close to World War III, getting close to attacks on American soil from some of these, which you might call terrorist groups in other countries. And she's talking about how they've already sent over 1,000 people here. And he specifically asked, he's like, over 1,000. And she goes, the event that happened in, you correct me on this, Stevie. I don't know where it was. I forgot the name. But in the other country, remember a few months back when all these guys from the group came in on parachutes, on paramotors, and they flew into like that concert and they just started offing everyone. Remember that happened about 4 or 5?
No. What the fuck?
Huh? You didn't hear that?
No.
It was in like, say, Gaza or something like that. It was all over.
No.
You never heard about that?
No.
Oh my God. This is like front page news, like
again
for a long time.
Nope.
Yeah, they did the where was this pager attack? You remember the pager attack that happened like a month or two ago?
I do remember. I feel like
where was that at?
I want to say Israel.
Okay, this might have been Israel as well.
Okay.
I want to say it was the same area. I know it's the same area. I don't know if it's Israel, but yeah, they flew in on paramotors and people all over because they're at this concert, this music festival. Think of like Coachella, like a music festival for a few days. So they all have their phones taking videos and stuff. And you see them, they're recording these guys coming in on these things. And then as they start landing and they see what's going on, they just start running. And it's just desert. There's nowhere to go. People are getting in their cars and taking off, like loading as many people into their cars as they can, taking off. These guys came in, just it was massive deal.
Whoa.
Anyway, she's talking about how that attack, she goes, we know they had over 1,400 people set up ready to go to jump in on all those things that happened. She goes, it's already confirmed they have already sent at least, if not more, over 1,000 people here. And she's talking how, you have the suicide vest bombers, those types of people. She goes, we don't have that happen here. People have no clue what could possibly be coming. Anyways, that's the Shawn Ryan show. These are the type of people he has on. These are legit people. These are credible people. These are people who talk to and open up to him because of what he does. He's a former Navy SEAL, and he currently works doing something with the CIA. So we're going to have that at the end because this guy he has on, as some of you probably heard, the guy that was in or allegedly in that Cybertruck who rented that truck and supposedly died in it, he sent an email the night before to the guy that he has on his show. And this guy has a very interesting theory. So let's start off with the planes, okay?
Yeah.
I've noticed, I mentioned this last episode. You probably recall me mentioning it, Stevie. We've had a lot of airplane issues, crashes, whatever, pop up in the news recently. Now, it could be similar to the trains. Maybe they're just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them happening per year around the world. And maybe the news is only reporting on some of them. I don't know. But it also struck me as odd. However, the train thing did too about a year or so ago, whatever it was. However, we see there's just tons of them happening. So let's start. So these are not in any particular order. However, they're all around the same period of time. So Sunday, December 22nd. These are all 2024. Aer Lingus nose wheel collapse during landing in Belfast. This was at Belfast City Airport. It was closed after the nose wheel on an Aer Lingus ATR 72-600 operated by Emerald Airlines collapsed on landing. The incident happened at 16:06 as a turboprop was attempting to land. Strong winds when the aircraft slammed nose first into the runway and skidded to a halt. So we do see strong winds, right? So,
that explains why it broke. It wasn't just due to age. It was due to slamming into the ground due to high winds. Okay.
I'd have to see video and see how hard it slammed, but yeah. So the next one we have Sunday, it looks like the same Sunday, December 22nd. A small plane had crashed into a tourist hotspot in southern Brazil. It killed all 10 people on board and injured more than a dozen people on the ground. The twin-engine Piper, it hit the chimney of a home in the second floor of a different house before crashing into a shop in a largely residential neighborhood of Gramado shortly after takeoff from Canela, Brazil's civil defense agency said. So, the aircraft's owner and pilot, Luiz Claudio Galezi, was killed along with 9 members of his family. Wow.
Damn.
The company confirmed that the CEO, him, and his wife and 3 daughters had died in the crash. Moving on, same day, Sunday, December 22nd, a Britten-Norman BN2B26 Islander operated by North Coast Aviation collided with wooded terrain in the Sapmanga Valley about 32 nautical miles northeast of Nadzab, Papua New Guinea. Wreckage was located the following day. The aircraft departed Wasu Airstrip at 10:12 local time on a single pilot charter flight with 4 passengers on board. Passengers were staff of the Ministry of Housing en route to Nadzab with an estimated arrival time of 10:47. The last radio contact made by the pilot was 10:14 when the pilot was instructed by FIS to contact Nadzab approach when at 15 miles from Nadzab. At 10:30, a distress signal was received. That's it. No survivors. Interesting. Ministry of Housing passengers.
I mean,
you know,
I don't find it interesting. Like, it just happens to be those people. Like,
yeah, could be.
It's just, there's a. I guess if there's not a lot of news going on, you got to focus on something, and something that always happens every day, routinely, is airplane crashes.
Yep,
so,
they do.
I guess if you have nothing better to report, just go to that.
Yeah. Now what matters is the extent of the crashes. A lot are called crashes, and nothing really happens. They bump a little something here or there, and I mean, still a crash, right?
Yeah.
Whether you total the thing or not, whether people die or not. So the FAA briefly issued a nation. You might remember this at Christmas time, guys. The FAA briefly issued a nationwide ground stop for all American Airlines flights the morning of Christmas Eve, as the airline said a technical issue was affecting flights. The FAA said the ground stop was issued at the airline's request on one of the busiest travel days of the year. Now, I mean, we've been hearing nonstop about issues with American Airlines in the last year or so. Just consistent mess ups, man. They just, something's happening there.
They don't care.
Whether it's conspiratorial, whether it's them being cheap and they don't give a crap,
that
probably
part.
It. Yeah. They're even making changes to how they board, finally, because they have the stupid process of, you line up in this line, you line up, no assigned seating, nothing, and people kind of...
That's Southwest.
I think it's American.
No, I mean, you pay, you choose your seat. It literally, as you're booking, you choose your seat.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I literally flew on American.
Well, when?
Within the past year.
Well, they literally just changed it, so I don't know. Maybe it was Southwest.
It is Southwest. I can guarantee you that.
Either way, American's not the classiest.
I mean, none of them fucking really are. No, if I would rather take American over Spirit. Fuck.
So, yeah. So that was interesting because they gave no details. They never do. And especially Christmas, you're literally shutting down the entire flight system of this company. Zero details.
It's because it's embarrassing for them that they just...
Embarrassing's already over years ago for them. In my opinion. Next one, we have an Azerbaijan Airlines Embraer 190 carrying 62 passengers and 5 crew crashed while attempting to land at Aktau Airport, Kazakhstan on the morning of December 25th.
Russian planes. Like Russian-made planes.
I don't know.
I'm almost positive.
Crash in Kazakhstan. So this is this morning, December 25th. So flight J28243 took off from Baku and was originally bound for the Russian city of Grozny, but diverted to Aktau in Kazakhstan. It diverted. The airline said the crew attempted an emergency landing approximately 1.9 miles or 3 kilometers from the city of Aktau in Kazakhstan. Flight Radar 24 data shows that the vertical speed of the aircraft, so vertical speed meaning how fast is it ascending, going up, or how fast is it descending, going down, has nothing to do with whether that nose is down or up. You can have the nose up and still be descending. So vertical speed this way. Okay. Flight Radar 24 showed the vertical speed of the aircraft changed more than 100 times during the last 74 minutes of the flight, reaching extreme values from minus 8,300 feet per minute to very steep climbs of up to 8,300 feet per minute, indicating a possible flight control issue. Videos of the crashed aircraft show many large holes on the tail plane that suggest it may have come under air defense fire. I believe this may be one of the ones we've heard about recently, where It was in the news about a week or so ago,
and
there's a lot of concern that this may have had something to do with Russia, not necessarily intentional.
Just Russia being Russia.
Yeah. So interesting.
I do recall that one, actually.
Yeah. And changing your ascent or descent speed to 8,300 feet per minute, that's insane.
That is.
Going up, that's impossible in a commercial airliner. Going down, I still don't know if that's even possible. I don't think it is going straight down. I mean, you'd be going like down maybe, but 8,300 feet per minute, that's a lot. And I'm going off of a lot of simulation and stuff. I play, you're not doing that. You're typically under 1,000 feet per minute descending. You could definitely nose down, make that more. You could power off and nose down. You could power on and nose down. Getting it to that really does read like something's getting lost in translation within the system there, and there's some issue going on, which, flight control issue. It kind of makes sense. However, what happened to cause this whole thing to happen? That one is a little mysterious still. Next, dozens of United Airlines employees at Denver International Airport fell ill after eating a meal provided by the airline on Christmas Day.
I remember hearing about that one as well.
Now, I didn't hear about this, but this isn't a plane crash. However, putting it in there because it's the same time frame, okay? According to a letter from the Association of Flight Attendants representing United workers in Denver and Phoenix, a total of 492 meals were served to flight attendants. Of those, there were 24 reports of symptoms connected to food poisoning. Denver 7 spoke with one flight attendant who said he felt sick and started to experience nausea and diarrhea shortly after eating the holiday plate of food. The employee said many of his colleagues who ate the meal were also ill afterward.
That's the worst. Food poisoning is terrible.
Yeah. Next up, we have a KLM Royal Dutch Airlines flight bound for Amsterdam from Norway skidded off the runway after a hydraulic failure forced the plane to reroute for an emergency landing on Saturday. The Boeing 737-800 was en route from Oslo, Norway to Amsterdam, but diverted from its planned route and landed at the Oslo Torp I'm gonna botch this. Sandjord, whatever, airport after a loud noise was heard. A loud noise. So back to the beginning, skidded off the runway after a hydraulic failure.
That's interesting because those are newer planes.
I watch
a lot. I'm sorry, I'm a loser. I watch a lot of plane videos.
I mean, it might be. Either way, I mean, if we're looking at hydraulic failure, a loud noise was heard. That was heard while they were flying. But no mention of any calls of issues. You would think if there was a hydraulic failure while they're in the air, alarms, sirens, bells, and whistles are going to be going off in the cockpit. They're already going to know. They're going to be calling it in saying, hey, just so you guys know, we're having a hydraulic failure. We don't know exactly what's going on, but we're getting alerts. Maybe an issue when landing. Have emergency services ready. There's nothing. So
it might have been an issue that could have been overrode. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they did know because it does say the hydraulic forced them to reroute. But so the next one, we've all heard this one. Nearly 180 people died after a plane crashed as it was landing in South Korea the morning of Sunday, December 29th. Harrowing video footage shows the Jeju airplane coming off the runway before colliding with a barrier and bursting into flames at Muan International Airport. The plane, which was returning from Bangkok, Thailand, was carrying 181 people, 179 of whom were killed. 2 crew members were rescued from the wreckage. Authorities are investigating the cause of the crash, with fire officials indicating a bird strike and bad weather. However, experts have warned the crash could have been caused by a number of factors. That one's interesting because who puts a freaking wall right next to a runway? Yes, it's at the far end of the runway, but I mean, this wouldn't have happened If that wall had not been there, this wouldn't have happened.
True, I see, but there's walls at the end of a lot of runways. Like,
yeah, it's not a typical wall like it's blocking a residential neighborhood. It was like this wall off to the right side of the runway, not past the runway.
Just on the right side of the runway.
It veered off the runway and hit the damn wall that's like right there. It didn't veer far off the runway.
Gotcha.
Yeah, of course. I mean, every single airport by us, there's brick walls everywhere.
Yeah.
But not next to the runway.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like...
So it was parallel with the runway. I got you. That part I did not know.
That sucks. That whole thing could have been avoided other than issues at landing.
Dude,
but
the words of the survivors are so sad. Like, that whole scenario is fucked.
So...
yeah.
Next, we have the Halifax airport was closed for about 90 minutes Saturday night after a plane arriving from St. John's experienced a problem landing, which saw the plane skid down the runway and part of it catch fire. Passenger Nikki Valentine, who spoke with CBC News from a hangar where many of those aboard the flight were taken, said there appeared to be a problem with one of the plane's tires upon landing. Quote, the plane started to sit at about a 20-degree angle to the left, and as that happened, we heard a pretty loud, what almost sounded like a crash sound, as the wing of the plane started to skid along the pavement, along with what I presume was the engine. Valentine said the plane then skidded down the runway for a decent distance as pilots worked to stop plane. Plane shook, blah, blah, blah. Smoke started coming in the windows. A spokesperson for Air Canada, Peter Fitzpatrick, said the plane experienced a suspected landing gear issue after arrival Saturday night. So that's the end of the stories. We bring this up for the show tonight because some people are going to look at these events as obscure. We see them all pop up in the news right around Christmas. Boom, plane crash, plane crash, plane crash, plane crash, plane crash, plane crash, whether there's deaths or not. We do see a lot of landing gear issues here. That is what had kind of flagged me. I'm not saying I believe there's anything crazy going on. I mean, if you think like maybe some people are coordinating on the ground, loosen some nuts and bolts here and there on the landing gears and then, whatever, right? That stuff I'm sure is going through people's minds. So it could look obscure. However, if you look at the history of this, I bet you're going to find a just ridiculously long list of plane crashes every year. And that could encompass any type of plane crash.
90,000 flights take on the off ground in a day.
It's a plane crash. So,
dude, 90,000 flights in a day. That's just passenger planes. Of course, something more than once is going to happen in a day.
Yep.
And like I said earlier, when the news is short on news, they're going to go to something that's a consistent. And unfortunately, that's plane crashes and tragedy.
They're going for drama and ratings. And unfortunately, we've all seen fake news is a thing. It's a fact. Unfortunately,
it is.
We can no longer trust
a
lot of news outlets for actual news. All right. Let's move on. This is the last thing we got. So we're going to talk about this Tesla Cybertruck thing. So allegedly what happened, this guy who is military, and I've not looked up the acronym that we're going to see in here. Let me see if I can find it actually.
What's the acronym?
I'm not seeing. Damn it. We'll see an acronym in here. I don't recall what the acronym is right now, but the way they're talking about the job this guy currently did for the military, it sounds like he's not someone that kind of goes off. He shouldn't be someone that kind of goes off the rails. Okay. So he allegedly got in the Cybertruck. He drove over there and somehow lit it on fire from the inside. And the truck didn't really blow up. It just caught fire inside and, flamed up everything on the inside.
Except for his ID and his passport. Those were perfectly untouched.
Well, yeah, there was fireworks inside there.
Yep, I saw the video. It was actually kind of impressive.
Looks like trying to make a spectacle. That's interesting. Why would we be doing that? Well, this guy, Shawn Ryan, has on the show. This guy is either current or former military. It's this guy in the background. Now, this is posted on this guy's TikTok, who we might see here. SRT Scarlet is where I saw this. I could just go to Shawn Ryan show and pull it up, but then I'd have to find this whole clip, right? So thank you, SRT Scarlet. We're not going to hear this guy talk. This guy right here, he is the bald guy. He's the guest on the Shawn Ryan show, and then we'll see it switch over to Shawn Ryan. Pay attention to what he's saying. Listen to the thing. It's very short, about 1:40 seconds. You got to remember the people we're listening to talk here. These are people that typically aren't conspiracy theorists. They typically don't look at that stuff and be like, yeah, probably, blah, blah, blah. These are like down to earth, no bullshit, just straight to the point. Like these guys, a lot of them, and I'm referring to a lot of the ones on Shawn Ryan's show, not necessarily anyone in the military. You have a plethora of jobs. However, there's certain facets of the military you're not going to get to by being that type of person, meaning a BSer and just woo woo woo. And that's where these people are. These are at a different level where BS can't be tolerated. You have to trust the people you're working with.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's go ahead and start playing this and see what we got.
Who said my theory was crazy? Check out this interview with Sam Shoemate and Shawn Ryan. The Cybertruck attacker reached out to Sam directly, and this is his theory based off of what he knows.
You get a Tesla because you know it can drive itself up to the hotel, the Trump Tower. You put a body in it. You don't want to kill anybody because that's not the message you're trying to send. You're not trying to level the tower or kill a bunch of people. So you load it up with fireworks and a bunch of junk to send a message. And we know that his signal number or his signal safety number changed. That can't be done unless you're inside that signal account. And a lot of people conjecture, was the FBI inside his signal account, whatever else. But what if he accidentally changed his safety number, goofed up there? He rolled a body up in a Tesla specifically because a Tesla can drive itself up to the tower, and did what he did to send a message to expose his stuff. And he's still alive out there somewhere.
Well, the other thing is maybe the FBI wasn't on his phone. Maybe, I mean, this guy's obviously very competent. I mean, he's got a TSSCI clearance or the polygraph.
TSSCI clearance is, so not the job, it's the clearance level this guy had. Before we continue, let's look that up. TSCCI clearance. Let's see exactly what that may involve. Top secret, sensitive, compartmented information. Now, things can slip through the cracks, but when you're going for those types of clearances, they don't just hand them out to everyone.
No, they don't.
And it is neat to know. So just because you have that type of clearance doesn't mean you're going to be told about every single thing going on within the government/military.
Exactly.
It's only be what you need to know. So let's continue.
It's been associated with USASOC. Obviously, he was on this operation in 2019. By the way, the general in charge of that was General Miller. You'll see that in the email that we post on X later after this interview comes out. You know, maybe he changed his number on purpose and switched phones because he obviously was tipped off or conducted his own counter surveillance and caught Homeland or FBI tracking him. And so I think there's a very good possibility that that Matthew Livelsberger might be still alive.
Still alive. Now, these aren't guys that BS with BS and just jump to conspiracy theories, you know?
Right.
They're like us. They talk about them and try to use some common sense, some critical thinking, and what's the plausibility? Just like we went through with the whole airplane thing. Mm-hmm. Yes, it seems weird, seems obscure because the media brought up all these plane crashes, and on the plane crashes, 2 more with small, like Cessnas, just happened in the last couple days. I just saw one in the news today. I forgot to pull that one up. I didn't have time to look it up. But I just saw that on the news today. Crash, some people died. There was another one that crashed by Fullerton Airport in Southern California a day or 2 ago.
Are terrifying.
Crashed into, it was a house or a building. I think it was a building, and then the one that I heard today was into a house.
Good God.
People died. And it seems obscure because the news decides to pick all those out at a certain time. And
again,
maybe it's
when
because
there's nothing else to report on, or
there's plenty to report on right now.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well,
but they picked this.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe there's a few more that happened in the US than elsewhere, but as we see, a lot of those are elsewhere too.
Or maybe they're trying to be like, see, people are dying. You need to love your family in the most like indirect way possible. I don't know. Trying to see a positive there.
Yeah, I don't know. But the point
know.
is, you see, these guys don't jump to those things. They're like us. They're going to go through it and say, what's the possibility? We bring it up because it's obscure. But then we go into common sense of there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these that happen every year, and they don't report on the majority of them.
Correct.
So they have an interesting theory. Now, I don't know too much about what they're referring to. This safety code or this whatever code he was talking about was changed and this and that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I would firmly assume, because of who we're listening to, Shawn Ryan and this other guy, as well as the little bit I was able to garner from what they said, it sounds like that code or whatever it was changed at a time where it shouldn't have been changed, possibly after this guy's alleged death. Why did that get changed? That shouldn't have changed. So he's either alive or someone's into his account screwing around doing some stuff. Interesting.
I would like to say he's alive just because, like, I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but at the same time, just with everything, I would just like to believe.
You never know. And people have come out, as they do in cases like this or, anything else. You always hear people come out, friends. I think it was a friend, maybe a family member. I think it was a friend made a quick comment about this guy. And he was like, this isn't the person I knew.
Yeah.
Like, I just cannot 100% see this guy doing something like this. It's weird. And what's his statement? Why would he do that? Like, if you're going to commit suicide, why you just drive to the Trump hotel? I mean, he had in his email, he sent an email to that guy we saw on the Shawn Ryan show there. He sent an email. He's saying this had nothing to do with Trump. The Trump hotel is just where I'm wanting to go, blah, 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 all this stuff. These, people he knows, or at least one person saying just doesn't seem like him. So, it's interesting. It's obscure. There's probably going to be more coming out if there's anything major that's interesting and seems odd. We may bring that up. I might do a little more digging into it because it sounds a little bit more interesting now than it did a day or two ago. So we'll see. I don't know. What do you think about all the planes and stuff? And what do you think about this Tesla dude?
The plane. Oh God. So the planes are planes. The planes just do what planes do, and that's sometimes unfortunately crash. Again, 90,000 passenger planes, 100,000 total flights a day. That includes cargo, military, passenger, approximately, like around the world. Come on, like for everything to go perfect all the time is insanity. That's not the world we live in. And in regards to the secondary, I have a lot of opinions about that. I don't necessarily want to share them on the internet right now because they are wildly different.
I mean, nothing wrong with different.
No, but at the same time,
don't have to share them. But
I'm under fire enough on the show for not smiling and multitude of other reasons men can figure out. Just so
one person says one thing, that's not
okay. Hey, it was more than just one person.
Real quick, just to give you guys an idea of what's in there. If you've never gone on Flight Radar, this is current.
Yeah.
What's in the air on Flight Radar? This is current. This is right now.
Right now.
And as you see, boom, 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 sun's going down. It is 8:45 where we're at. And, we could go back and change this to during the day, and it's even more. This is what's in the air right now.
Yeah.
Well, mostly in the air. A lot of these are on the ground as well, but they're just landed or they're getting ready to take off.
Not only that, but like
that's in the U.S.
You have to zoom in even farther because like some of them just have 1 or 2 planes over it, like Chicago, and I can tell you that those planes represent probably 10 or 12.
Yeah. Look at this. I mean, here's the whole world. I mean,
look at that flight path coming down from.
It's insane.
From Alaska. I like that.
Yeah. Well, check this one out. Here's Hawaii. I see this one quite a bit.
Well,
this is currently what's going to and from Hawaii.
Yeah, but no, I like the fact that you can see like the paths that the airplanes take based on like the air currents and shit. I think that's cool. Yeah. Again, super nerd. Find things like that interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a ton.
Yeah.
So, if you've never looked at Flight Radar, I'd highly recommend going on the website or download the app. It's easier.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're one of those people going on apps like Nextdoor and going, oh my God, what's the helicopter doing? Just go on there and look and you'll see it's the sheriff's police helicopter or it's SoCal Edison flying up and down, inspecting power lines, guys. Come on, man.
I mean, a kid uses that site to track fucking Bezos in his plane, so...
Yeah,
I mean, come on, guys.
It was Musk.
Oh, yeah, Musk. Well,
yeah.
A billionaire. Whatever.
Same difference.
Same different accent. No.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's our obscure stuff for tonight. Again, we'll the Tesla thing, if anything more comes into play on that, we'll look into that. It definitely seems very interesting. We'll see. If you got an obscure story of your own, right there, obscuredr1@gmail. Send us an email, type story in the subject line. We'll tell your story for you on here so you don't have to. If you'd like to come on the show, super simple for you to do. Let us know in the email. And you can come on the show, tell your own story. We'll have a chat about it. You can do so anonymously if you want. That's fine. No face. Doesn't matter. That's fine. Like, share, subscribe. Comment down below. Not about us. About the stuff we're doing.
Jesus Christ.
We don't care. She might get a little upset here and there.
Because
honestly, she doesn't give a crap. Come on, guys. Grow up. Let's be adults. And we do need to stop cussing.
Hey, we did really good this time. We did really
that one I've
good.
Always thought about. I have an issue with that. So
I just have a job where there's no children allowed in my store whatsoever. So like my need to watch myself is completely gone out the window. So it's just turned into a pretty bad habit. But I think we did really good this time.
Yeah, much better.
Probably because I didn't talk much.
Yeah.
Shut up. Don't agree with me.
Yeah. We'll just start muting her. Oh, God. All right. We're out of here. Please comment. Don't be mean. We'll catch you next time.
I can be meaner.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check back with us often for new episodes. Feel free to drop a comment and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Obscured Reality.